developing outside UCLA Medical Center right now as word begins to spread that Michael Jackson is dead. The Los Angeles Times reporting that right now. I want to bring in our CNN contributor, Donna Brazil. Donna, like all of us, we grew up listening and watching the Jackson 5, and Michael Jackson brings back a lot of memories. What's going through your heart right now, Donna?
Very sad, Wolf. Michael Jackson was a genius. He was a humanitarian. He occupied a large space. I remember as a little girl watching him. The Jackson 5 was about hope, about love. My sisters and brothers and I would often say, well, who will be like Michael? Who will marry Michael and Jermaine and Tito and Randy and Jackie? So I'm thinking about Michael Jackson's family. He has an amazing family, his parents. I met him several times. He was always shy, sort of reluctant to take the spotlight, but he was a very soft and gentle human being who had a wonderful touch and cared about everybody. And even during his most controversial moments, Michael always wanted people to come together. He embodied love. He embodied it in his music, but also in his presence, not just as a king of pop, but someone who had a real soul for humanity.
Did you ever have a chance to meet him, Donna?
Absolutely. Well, that was one of the greatest honors. I met him as a teenager. I saved money one summer. My mother had put aside money for us to go to Houston to see the Astro game, and I said, but I want to see Michael. And my older sister, Cheryl, and we went to the Jackson 5 concert. And when I was working in the Clinton Gore campaign, as you know, he came to Washington, D.C. to perform during the president's inaugural, and Quincy Jones introduced me to Michael Jackson. I could have fainted, but I was a little old then. But I love Michael Jackson. I have all of his music. And, you know, I learned how to dance watching Michael Jackson, especially when he would appear on the Ed Sullivan Show. So, Michael Jackson, God bless his soul, and I just hope that people understand that this was a real human being who cared deeply for humanity.
An enormous talent. Cara Finstrom is out there at the home. We're seeing motorcycles and activity outside the Michael Jackson home. Cara, tell our viewers what we're seeing.
Yeah, we have just watched this group of police officers pull up, and I think they are actually securing off the area. If I can pull up just a little bit. Sir, are you just securing off the area right here?
We haven't been given our assignments yet.
Okay. They have closed off this road. You just heard him say they haven't been given their assignment yet, but they have closed off the road, trying to hold traffic back. Definitely not seeing the crowd here that's being reported at the hospital where Michael Jackson was taken, but this is his home. This is in the Bell area. This is where he was staying and where he was rushed by paramedics from where he was rushed by paramedics to the hospital this morning. Now, some people from the neighborhood have started to wander up. These two women joined us just a few moments ago, and you live just a few blocks from here. You're hearing the reports from the Los Angeles Times that Michael Jackson has died, and you say you are big fans. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts.
Well, I think it's just not really real right now. You know, we just came over here hoping that he was still in a coma, and you know, it's just kind of. I mean, we're huge fans. We listen to him. We drive by here every day. Every day we're like, oh, maybe we should stop by and see if we can see him. I've seen him once, and it's just like you never really think that something like this would happen, you know?
And I know you said you kind of grew up listening to Michael Jackson songs, so for you this is surreal.
Yes, it's just very shocking, you know. I was a big fan, you know, still listen to his music, you know, warming up for a game, and it's so unreal right now, you know. Can't imagine that this would have happened.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Wolf, a lot of people coming up here with cameras, their phones, taking pictures. Obviously, there's a pop icon, a huge pop star, and a lot of people, you know, just wanting to kind of capture the moment, find out what they can. But I can tell you also that there are usually about a half dozen vans that are parked outside of the Bel Air home. They are his ardent fans that follow him wherever he goes. And we understand that that group of fans, as well as many others, has moved over to the hospital where he was taken earlier today.
He would have been 51 years old, Cara, on August 29th. Let's go to the hospital. CNN's Alan Duke is over there. The crowds are getting bigger and bigger as word spreads. Alan, the Los Angeles Times reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
Yes, they're moving us further and further back here from the emergency room where I've been for the last, I guess, hour and a half or more. And so we can't see nearly as much as we could just a few minutes ago. But the number of fans crowding around the entrance to the emergency room has grown. The music of Michael Jackson in the air. There's a fraternity, UCLA fraternity house, just across the street from the emergency room entrance. And their balcony is filled with students, and they've got the speakers out, and they're playing Michael Jackson's music in honor of Michael. I'm looking at a couple of very familiar vehicles. These are Cadillac Escalades, dark blue, that I'm sure you've seen in video of Michael Jackson's entourage traveling around the Los Angeles area. They're parked out here, and occasionally you'll see people milling around, very sad, some of them wiping tears away. But we've not really been able to see any of the family members of the Jackson clan here walking in or out. I've been told by one journalist here that he did see LaToya enter to another entrance, but we don't know that's for sure. The security is getting tighter here at the hospital. They combed the hospital for journalists, and that's why I'm no longer inside. But they promise that they will have some statement at some point. But according to the hospital publicist, the spokeswoman said that under HIPAA laws, they're not able really to say anything until they get permission of the family, which at least a few minutes ago they had not yet received. And so they can't tell us any details of what's going on inside with Michael Jackson.
Well, I assume that will change fairly soon. Those crowds getting bigger and bigger as word spreads in Los Angeles. Word spreads around the United States, around the world right now that Michael Jackson has died, according to the Los Angeles Times. He suffered from cardiac arrest, was rushed to UCLA Medical Center. Paramedics brought him there, tried to revive him, was inside the hospital, we're told, went into a coma, and now the LA Times reporting that he's dead. Let me play another popular song